Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning into your love read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Alright, we're going to do relationship first, single second, Virgo. Oracle cards come out as needed. Okay. The wheel. Okay. Your partner does have the wheel coming forward, and I'm seeing that. Let's keep going. The wheel is coming, though. The wheel is coming. So the wheel is when a phase, like, it's almost, a lot of people look at it as luck, and I get that. But it's kind of like saying something's coming in that's unexpected and it's going to change your circumstances. That's basically what it is. It's just time for this to happen. How's that? But that's coming later is what I'm getting. Now, when I'm seeing this start, your partner has the Ace of Swords with the Hierophant. The Hierophant, that's not the Hierophant, what is it? The High Priest. The High Priest is in the challenge position. And I'm getting like where they're standing spiritually is the Queen of Pentacles, which is why this is kind of conflicting, because I feel like they're very used to certain aspects of whatever they're doing. Whatever they're handling, however they're going through life, they're very anchored in certain situations. And this is, I feel like, your first heads up. Whatever they're anchored to, this is where that wheel is coming in, because the tower is coming after for them. I actually feel you're going to help them. I don't feel this a bad thing for you when I'm feeling that the Wheel of the Year is what they're saying, but Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of the Year. And when I'm feeling that tower coming later, and that's much later is what I'm getting, I don't feel that negative for you. I feel that negative more for your partner, because there's certain things they're anchored to, and that's what the High Priest is saying. Don't be overly anchored to certain situations. Like, I feel like tradition, regimented, doing things a certain way, they might be overly anchored. Like, you can be anchored in a very positive way, like, this is what I'm used to, this is how I do things. But it's kind of like looking at a garden, and a person constantly going is, you know, I constantly get tomatoes, I'm going to constantly make this. I constantly get tomatoes, I constantly get this. And your energy coming in is like, well, yes, during spring, summer, and part of fall, that will be true. But your energy coming into this is saying, you got to plan for winter. And I feel like that's what they're negating out. It seems very obvious to you, and I feel like that's why we're giving that, and they're also giving the Wheel of the Year. To you, this is very obvious. Like, yes, while conditions are favorable, you'll keep getting those tomatoes, spring, summer, part of fall. Yes, that's true. But winter will come, and that will not come. That you will not get that bounty. It will not happen, because when winter comes, you're not going to get those tomatoes. It will not happen. To you, this is, I feel like to you, this is flat out obvious. This is just, how can you not know? That's kind of like one of those feelings, like, how can you not know winter is coming? Yeah, I don't see them planning that way. I feel them just kind of like, there's tomatoes, I'm going to keep using the tomatoes. There's tomatoes, I'm going to keep using the tomatoes. They're too anchored with that. They're not planning for winter. And I'm getting on your side, like, this is the analogy. To you, it's like, well, obviously that's coming. Obviously you can't do that. You're going to either have to put that situation on pause, or you're going to have to find a different way to get tomatoes. You know what I mean? Something. And you're seeing it. I feel like you should already be seeing it is what I'm getting. Especially because you have the Empress here. Kind of like, yeah, this is good for now. Yes, this sounds good. I don't see you standing in the way of your partner at all. I feel you're going along with it. You might be assuming they're going to realize winter is coming. Like, I feel like that might be how you look at it. Like obviously you know that's coming. I don't need to say it because it should be obvious. They're not planning that way, though, and I think that's the thing. That's the big thing coming in. They're not planning that way, but I'm feeling you looking at it like, well, how can you not? This is the big hiccup here. Because you're very happy. You got the Nine of Pentacles where you're standing, the Ten of Cups spiritually, like everything's on point, everything makes sense, you're very happy, you're very grounded. Your challenge card, really, seriously, you got the Temperance card. This is your challenge card. To you, this is obvious. To you, this is going to work itself out. To you, how would you not plan for that? That's how you're looking at it, and this is the problem card, though. To you, it's obvious. Either to them, it's either not obvious, or they're just going moment by moment. They're not planning ahead. That's the thing. They need to plan ahead, and they're not. This is where you come in. Because to you, again, and over again, and maybe I'm not giving it fair wordage or verbiage, whatever you want to say, because you're just kind of like, it'll come together in its own time. It's just you're giving your partner time. You don't want to be like harping on them. In its time, it'll come together, and that's how you're looking at it. This is your challenge card. That's not how this is going. That's what they're saying. They're like, no. Because where this is going, naturally, is you're going to leave it up to your partner to handle it. They're like, well, that's what they want to do. That's the obvious progression of how this is going to go. I'll just leave it to them. Six of Swords is telling me you're just leaving it to them, feeling like, well, that's how that should work out. The thing is, they are having a lot of success, and this is why you're leaving them alone. They want the tomatoes. They got the tomatoes. They're using the tomatoes. They keep doing that over and over. They got it down. Either they're going to, put it on pause later, or they're going to find a different way to get tomatoes, whatever it is. They got that locked down. You're leaving them alone about that. And they're having a lot of success. That's why you're leaving them alone, is because they're doing very well. And they are, is what I'm getting, but they're not planning ahead. They're not planning ahead. And you don't have to be like an ogre about it. I'm not saying that, but you need to bring it forward and be like, how are we? So, like, you can actually kind of like bring in a very positive energy with this. Like, oh, this is awesome. I think we're doing great. You're doing great. Like, how is the winter going? Like, are you going to get tomatoes from somewhere else, or is this just going to go on pause for a while? I'm just curious, because I think this is great. I'm just really curious, because this is going so wonderful. What's the plan for the winter? I'll help you if I can. You can even come in that way. I'll help you. Do you need help with the winter? Because I know that's coming. Are you getting it from somewhere else? Are we just putting it on pause? What are we doing? Winter, this is an analogy. I think people who are catching into this already know that, so I'll just put that aside. You get what this is saying. I feel like you're getting it. For those of you this is clicking with, like, it's clicking right in your head, like, you're like, oh, I know what you're talking about. And I feel like you're also probably resisting it just slightly, like, but that's so obvious. Like, they have to be planning for that. I'm telling you, they're not. They're not. Now, let's see. Okay. So this is what's coming forward for them. They got the High Priestess, and they got the Trust. They're just trusting things are going to work out. So the trust is over with the lighter pillar. It's kind of more significant of the positive energy. Like, they're just thinking it'll just work itself out when the time comes. Like, they don't have to worry about it. They're ignoring the darker pillar. Wow. They're ignoring it. Like, they need to be planning for this. They're just expecting things to work out. They're just kind of like, well, when it happens, I'll deal with it. That's not, no. That's not the way to do this, is what I'm getting. I'm getting it over and over, like, no. That's not how to do this and continue your success. Because they have success at this moment. They're just like, I'm just going to live in the success I have, and when the moment comes, I'll just handle it when I need to. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Now, this is what's making things better. And I feel like it starts with you. The Nine of Wands. It's not only standing your ground, but it's kind of like defining where you're standing. Like, this is where we are. This is how things are going. And you standing your ground would probably be more about, like, we need to have a plan. You need to tell me your plan for this winter situation coming up here. And it's you kind of like pushing towards your partner, like, you need to be ready to defend yourself when this situation comes. AKA, you need to be planning. You need to have a plan. You need to know, like, when winter happens, what's your preliminary, what's your first thought? Are you going to shut down for a while? Or you're going to get tomatoes somewhere else? What are you going to do? And they're saying, this is good for you to, like, just, like, stand your ground and make them work this out. Because it's good for both of you. This is part of, like, how this relationship comes together in a very supportive way. You're making them figure it out, and you're not letting them just skate by. You're like, this is like, one of the ways you support each other. They have certain things they support you with. This is one of the things you support them with. Like, you need a plan. Winter's coming. What are you doing? Like, I'm not trying to be an ogre, but you need to tell me because I need to know you have things on lock. Either you're going to shut it down or do this. Or is there a third option that I have no idea about it? Tell me about your third option. Which they might be like, I'll just kind of, when it happens, I'll just deal with it when it happens. Not acceptable. That's not a good option. I don't like that option. Like, no, that's a bad option. Now, this is what helps this situation between you and your partner, because if this just goes as is, your partner's going to hit a rough moment is what I'm getting, and it's going to drag you down. You're going to have to deal with it either way. If you pull in sooner, everything's better for the both of you. If you let it kind of go the way it's going, they're going to go through a rough moment, and then you're going to kind of be helping them through that rough moment. And I feel like you'd rather, like, you know, I don't think I need to beat that to death. You'd rather this go a better way now. I don't think I need to really go crazy with that. Now, this is what's helping them. First, acknowledging the wheel will turn. This is the wheel of the year in this deck, which is sometimes referred to as the Wheel of Fortune in other decks. But I feel like they're saying, no, Wheel of Year, like the cycle is coming through. What's also helping them is the resistance. How is that helping them? Because I feel like you are getting some resistance from them. Why is this a helpful thing? Because they're really enjoying the situation and they don't want to change things. You can angle that to your benefit. Kind of like, yeah, I know you don't want it to change me either. But when winter happens, it's not up to me or you. You just won't have tomatoes. You just won't. So let's plan. And because I feel like the resistance, you can actually turn that around and use it to your advantage. Like, yeah, I know you don't want this to stop. You don't want to stop having a good time. I don't want you to stop having a good time. That's why I'm bringing it forward. Winter comes, there just literally will not be tomatoes. So I want you to keep enjoying. So do we need to plan to find a different way to get you tomatoes? Do we need to plan a different way? I want you to keep enjoying this. And I feel you can angle that easily to your advantage. Yeah, I know you're having a good time. I don't want you to stop having a good time. That's why I'm bringing it forward. That's why I'm bringing this forward, so we can deal with this. These cards are popping out at the bottom. The Tower is hitting. But it's at the bottom. It's almost like an option line. Which kind of like, is it going to be the Wheel of the Year and you've planned for it? Or is it going to be the Tower and we're getting knocked down? Because I know people don't like that. If you show the Tower as an option, they're like, well, that's a major arcana. That's not really an option. I feel like what they're saying is like there's a major arcana one way or the other. Either you plan for it and you work through it, or you get hit by it, you get side smacked by it, and you just kind of have to pick yourself up off the floor. One of the two. They're not going to like it anyway. They're still good. I see them having a real hard time either way you go. You're going to have to help them a lot. They're not going to be happy with how things are. They're going to question whether this is going to keep going. They're like, it's kind of like things are going to be put on pause for them. I'm just trying to, no, I feel like that they're really saying that Tower card is like, if this goes naturally, they're hitting a Tower moment. It's going to be rough. You're not going to like it. They're not going to like it. They're going to be very upset about it. You're going to have to help them a lot. But if this goes as planned, it'll be the Wheel of the Year, like accepting the cycle coming in. And I feel like for those of you this is really hitting for, this is about your partner kind of breaking through a pattern. Like, you know what I mean? Starting to work with a pattern they have, or they maybe are a little short-sighted and they get a little excited and they don't want to think about the negative parts, something like that. I know it's very airy out there, but it's kind of like it's probably about breaking a pattern. I mean, I know this is a general read, but like that's, I feel like, why they got the option. Like, they can keep doing it the way they've been doing it and just keep hitting this pattern, keep doing these things over and over again, like this. Or they can start accepting that life has moments where things, it's not always going to be the same. Change is a constant. Change is our one dependable constant, as somebody once told me. You know what I mean? It will change. Like, that's, a lot of people say that, I know. I think that's the point. And they're going, yeah, that's it. We're good. All right, so I'm going to let that be there. Let's go into Virgo singles. I think this is a really good one, personally, because especially for Virgo, because Virgos, Earth signs, I know Earth signs, but Virgos like to plan, and they feel more secure with a plan. And instead of seeing something later, and instead of this happening and later looking back at your partner like, why didn't you plan for that? How would you not see that coming? Instead of having that moment going, hey, just want to make sure you're on the ball. Because, you know, we're partners in life, and I'm trying to help you not hit a roadblock. I think that's a very good... I'm getting, like, that team-building attitude with it, you know what I mean? Like, strengthening. I think it's good. All right, let's do Virgo. Virgo singles. I'm getting sugar salt. Which, when I'm thinking of that, it reminds me of, like, almost like salted caramel. Like, there's some good and some bad, I guess, but it really makes the situation better. Alright, let's see what we got. Single Virgo. Sugar salt. Got the wheel at the top again. No, I shouldn't say again. The other first half of this had the wheel. Single Virgos. I'm still sugar salt. I'm getting sugar salt again. Sugar salt. Sugar salt, sugar salt, sugar salt. Alright, so you're defensive against something, but why? Because you got a lot of positive cards here. But there's a defensive energy. You got the Two of Wands, nope, the Two of Swords in your thoughts, the Page of Swords where you're standing. This feels defensive to me. Like, that's not always the way for these cards, granted, but the Two Swords, and I'm feeling like locked swords. I know they're not locked here, but to me they feel locked. I feel like you're on defense against something. And sometimes the Page of Swords can be like looking closer, letting other people talk so you can find out what they really think, what's really going on here. The Page of Swords is typically a very smart card, but usually more receptive, kind of like, I don't want to lead the conversation. I want to see where it goes on its own. And I want to kind of like absorb what's really happening here. I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen very intently to see what people are just naturally saying. It's one of those things. And it's like the Two of Swords is usually like, you know, you're not really sure what to do. So it's almost like the analysis by paralysis by analysis feeling comes in with this card a lot. The situation is not bad though. But you're feeling defensive and you're not really sure what to do with it. It's what I'm still getting here. Now, in the past, you got the Ten of Pentacles with this person. This is somebody you already know. For the Virgos connecting with this, I really feel like you already know this person. Not one to really mince on that. Because there's a foundation. I'm feeling a foundation. Now, this might be actually the reason why you're feeling all this. Now that I'm connecting to this. Because in the past, this may have been a non-issue or a non-option for whatever reason. Either they were with somebody else, or what I'm literally seeing is like somebody, you knew somebody when you were like 12, 13, and they were older than you, and that was not even a thing. It was like you being with this person was not even a thing. Not even not even on the plate, the agenda, the possibility list, nothing. Nope. But now, a significant amount of time, so like you're either in your 20s, 30s, or beyond, whatever, and now things are different. But you're like, but I've known this person since I was very young, so I'm not really sure if this is appropriate. Others of you, there's other things where you've just made it up in your head that like, this is a line that's not supposed to be crossed for whatever reason, but you're comfortable with this person. I don't feel any negative energy. It's just kind of like they're there, but it's kind of like, I don't think I'm supposed to do that. Something like that. This person does, like, they have the Four of Wands towards you. As far as they're concerned, they will always be in your life. You will always be in their life. So they're seeing you as a constant. They're seeing you as something they do not want to ever change, in the sense of like, you should always be in their life and they should always be in your life. Like, how your relationship between you and this person works, that can change, but like, they don't think you should ever be apart, if that makes sense. Like, even if it's just friends, they always want to be a part of your life. They're very devoted to you already, and it seems like they have been for quite a while. it doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel creepy or anything like that. So in case... Now, and I feel like the energy back and forth is very positive here. They're not about to cross any line you're not comfortable with. But that's also seeming to be a problem for you too. Like, I don't want to cause anything weird, or I don't want to damage this connection. There is some disruption with it though, because what I'm seeing here is the Wheel of the Year. I really do feel like this is Wheel of Fortune for you. Events are coming forward, and you're finding out that this person likes you the way you like them. Because I do feel, at the very least, there's an attraction. There's a physical attraction both ways, and it's being acknowledged to some point. You got the High Priest with the Sun card. It's coming forward. It is coming forward. But the High Priest with the Sun card is telling me there's no damage to this relationship. It's being acknowledged in a way that's not damaging, but I also see like everything seems to be staying the same. I don't see this moving forward a level at this point. But both of you seem to be acknowledging that each of you is attractive or attracted to each other to some level. The Sun card, you notice it's not the Lover's card. Like, it's still like you feel very good, and you're like, oh, he does like, or he, she, they do like me, and vice versa. And you're realizing it both ways, but neither of you are crossing a line. And I feel like it's because the High Priestess here is saying there's rules and restrictions, and you're both feeling like you need to honor those, even though you're comfortable letting each other know to a point that you're attracted. Okay, now I'm getting that Ten of Cups feel again, because I feel like it's not just between you. Other people around you seem to be aware of this, and I feel other people around you kind of approving of this situation. Now, again, it doesn't have to be an age thing. Keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be anything overly dramatic. I just feel like in the past there were rules. Rules were not going to be crossed. Lines were not going to be crossed. I don't feel like these rules are still applicable. That's also the thing with the Ten of Cups in your past, or Ten of Pentacles in your past. Like, rules that applied in the past do no longer apply. And I feel like this is a change in this situation. This is also another thing with the Wheel of the Year. Like, things have changed since that time. So it's not like it's a bad thing for you and this person to be together. It may have been at the time. Maybe back at this point it would have been a bad thing. Maybe, depending on what you're looking at. But those rules don't apply anymore is what I'm getting. And I'm feeling other people like telling you that. Like, you know, those rules don't apply anymore. Justice with abundance is somebody's basically saying, cut your cords from these rules from the past. Those rules from the past no longer apply. They just don't. I'm getting here, the abundance is coming forward. Like, other people are like bringing it forward quite blatantly. Like, you know what? Let go of those rules and go towards this. This is a good thing. Okay. Seven of Wands with the Trust. Seven of Wands I view as a success card, but a success through trial and error a little bit. Like, you're working to make the success happen. It's kind of like the 6 and the 7 in this deck anyway. In this deck, the way I feel about it, instead of like 6 would be like you're just coming in and claiming your prize. That's the success type version. The 7 is still successful, but it's kind of like, you know, it's like you want to have a beautiful banquet, but you got to cook and plan and bring it all together. You have all the resources, all the help to make it happen, to be successful, but you have to be an active part and like, all right, this is where we're going to do it, this is when we're going to do it, this is the stuff I need together, this is the food I want, and you're like kind of bringing it together and helping make it happen. There's work involved to make it happen. How's that? And they're giving the trust with the Seven of Wands. Like, I feel like you're slowly moving into this. You're talking it out with this person. The trust is here. I do feel like you're not worried about this person, but you have to trust that they want what you want, and you're slowly moving closer to it to make sure. You're slowly moving closer together. I do feel like this could be very successful. It's just you're gonna work at it. You're gonna make sure it's the right thing to do for you and this person. But I do feel like it's gonna happen. It's gonna take some effort, but I do feel like it's gonna happen. Are we good? We're good. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.